Welcome to Pet's Joy Moments. Hey there, animal lovers. Get ready to dive into a world of friendship, wisdom, and kindness with today's special episode. 10 animal fairy tales about friendship, wisdom, and kindness. From heartwarming friendships to clever lessons and acts of pure kindness, these magical fables will inspire and touch your heart. Whether it's a wise old turtle, a brave little bird, or a playful fox, each story carries a valuable life lesson that will stay with you forever. So sit back, relax, and let's begin our journey into these enchanting tales. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Pet's Joy Moments for more amazing stories. Let us know in the comments which tale is your favorite. Story: The Swallow in Winter. Winter has arrived. The sky is gray, and thick snow covers the ground. The swallows have migrated south to escape the cold, but one little swallow, injured in the wing, was left behind. It is alone in the freezing weather, struggling to find shelter. The little swallow flutters through the streets, stopping by windows and doors, hoping for someone to help. But everyone is in a hurry, avoiding the cold, paying no attention to it. Its wings grow weaker, and its body trembles from hunger and frost. When the swallow is about to collapse, a kind farmer passes by. He notices the little bird curled up under a tree. With a compassionate heart, he gently picks it up and takes it home. The farmer places the little swallow in a small cage near the fireplace. He gives it water and breadcrumbs. Slowly, the swallow regains its strength, and its eyes sparkle with hope. Time passes, and the harsh winter gradually fades away. As the first flowers bloom, the little swallow regains its strength. It flaps its wings, soaring into the sky, singing a song of gratitude and carrying with it the hope of a bright future. The story of the little swallow and the kind farmer reminds us that kindness can bring hope in even the darkest times. A simple act of compassion can change someone's life. Story: The Donkey and the Shadow. On a hot summer day, a merchant was traveling across the vast desert with his donkey. The sun blazed in the sky, and the sand shimmered like golden waves. As noon approached, the scorching heat made every step feel heavier. The merchant and his donkey finally stopped to rest. There was no tree, no rock, only the shadow cast by the donkey itself. The merchant sighed in relief and prepared to sit in the shade. But as he was about to rest, the donkey's owner, a stubborn young man, appeared. "You rented my donkey, not its shadow. If you want to use the shadow, you must pay extra," the young man insisted. The merchant frowned. "But how can the donkey be separate from its shadow? You are being dishonest." The argument grew louder, echoing through the empty desert. As the two men quarreled, neither noticed that the donkey, tired of the noise, had quietly walked away. When they finally realized, they turned in shock. There was no more donkey and no more shadow. The merchant shook his head. "See? By being greedy and dishonest, you have lost both the donkey and its shadow." The young man looked down, realizing his mistake. Greed and trickery had led him to lose more than he had gained. This story teaches us that greed and dishonesty lead only to loss. True success comes from fairness and integrity. Do not let small deceptions cost you something far greater. Story: The Rooster and the Pearl. Once upon a time, in a small village, a hungry rooster wandered around a farmyard, scratching the ground in search of food. The sun shone brightly, casting golden light over the dry earth. As he scratched the dirt, his claws hit something hard. Curious, he pecked at it and uncovered a beautiful shining pearl. The rooster tilted his head, inspecting the unusual object. The rooster picked up the pearl in his beak, then quickly dropped it. He clucked in disappointment. "This is useless to me. If only I had found a grain of corn instead," he muttered before scratching the ground again, leaving the pearl behind. The pearl was valuable, but to the rooster it meant nothing because he didn't understand its worth. Sometimes, we may hold something precious in our hands but fail to see its real value. What about you? Have you ever overlooked something valuable in your life? Let us know in the comments. Story: The Wolf and the Moon. Deep in the heart of the silent forest, a lone wolf stood on a rocky peak, gazing at the glowing full moon. Its silver light bathed the landscape, filling the wolf's heart with longing. Every night, it howled, dreaming of touching the moon and becoming something greater. One evening, as the wolf howled at the moon, a wise old owl perched nearby spoke. "Why do you howl so sadly?" The wolf sighed. "I long to reach the moon, to be as bright and powerful as it is." The owl blinked its golden eyes and replied, "You are strong as you are. The moon's beauty is in the sky, but yours is here in the forest." Determined to reach the moon, the wolf climbed the highest cliff and prepared to leap. It took a deep breath and jumped with all its strength. For a moment, it felt as if it was flying, the moon so close it could almost touch it. But gravity pulled it back down, and it landed safely on the soft snow below. The wolf looked up, disappointment in its eyes. As the wolf lay on the snow, the owl's words echoed in its mind. It realized the moon was beautiful, but it was not meant to be touched. It was meant to shine from afar, just as the wolf was meant to run free in the forest. It stood up, shook the snow from its fur, and howled, not in sadness, but in joy, accepting itself for who it was. From that night on, the wolf still howled at the moon, but not out of longing. It howled to celebrate its own strength, its own path. The moon remained in the sky, shining its light, and the wolf ran through the forest, its spirit unchained. For we all have our place, our own kind of light to shine. Story: The Parrot and the Snake. In a lush green forest, a small parrot lived high on a tree branch. Its emerald feathers shimmered under the sunlight, and its round black eyes sparkled with curiosity. The parrot loved exploring everything around it, but sometimes curiosity could lead to danger. One day, while searching for food, the parrot noticed a strange creature curled up at the base of a tree. It was a large snake with shimmering brown scales and narrow, mysterious eyes. The snake gave a sly smile and spoke in a smooth voice. "Hello, little parrot. Come and play with me." The snake continued to entice. "I know a place filled with delicious fruits. If you come with me, I'll show you the way." The parrot hesitated, but its curiosity made it want to know the truth. However, deep inside, it felt something was not right. At that moment, a strong gust of wind shook the tree branches. The parrot remembered what its mother had told it. Not everyone who seems kind is truly trustworthy. With a strong flap of its wings, it decided to fly high, away from the snake. From that day on, the parrot became wiser and was no longer easily deceived. It understood that not everyone could be trusted, and sometimes safety was more important than satisfying curiosity. The story of the parrot and the snake teaches us that wisdom can save us from danger. Don't let curiosity or sweet words cloud your judgment. Always be cautious and know when to walk away from threats. Story: The Turtle and the Butterfly. In a lush green meadow, beside a small, clear pond, lived a little turtle. Its shell was a mix of earthy brown and deep green, blending perfectly with the soft grass. The turtle moved slowly but steadily, carrying its home on its back. Though it lived a peaceful life, sometimes it felt different from the other creatures. One day, as the turtle was munching on fresh grass, a vibrant butterfly fluttered down beside it. The butterfly had radiant golden wings with intricate blue patterns shimmering under the sunlight. It landed gracefully on a nearby flower and greeted the turtle with a cheerful voice. Butterfly: "Hello, little turtle. What a lovely day, isn't it?" "Yes, but it must be even lovelier for you, flying so freely." The turtle sighed as it watched the butterfly dance effortlessly in the air. "You are so lucky. You can fly high above the trees, see the world from above, and move so quickly. I, on the other hand, am slow and stuck on the ground." Butterfly: "Oh, but dear turtle, I see things differently. While I may fly, I am light and fragile. a strong wind could carry me away. But you are strong and protected. Your shell is your armor, something I could only dream of having." The turtle tilted its head, considering the butterfly's words. It had never thought of its shell as something special. It had always envied the creatures that could move faster, but now it saw its own strength in a new light. "You're right. I may not fly, but I have my own kind of strength. And while I move slowly, I always reach where I need to be." Butterfly. Exactly. We are all different, and that's what makes the world beautiful. Your patience and steadiness are just as valuable as my lightness and grace. From that day on, the turtle no longer wished to fly. It walked proudly, appreciating the strength it carried within. And the butterfly, too, continued to admire the turtle's resilience. Though they were different, they had both learned a valuable lesson, that every creature has its own special gift. The turtle and the butterfly remind us that we don't need to compare ourselves to others. Each of us has unique strengths that make us special. Instead of wishing for what we don't have, we should cherish what makes us who we are. Story: The Goats and the Bridge. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, two goats lived on opposite sides of a river. One was a white goat with bright eyes full of curiosity. The other was a brown goat with thick fur and strong curved horns, looking determined. Both wanted to cross the river to find greener pastures. In the middle of the river, there was an old wooden bridge, just wide enough for one goat at a time. Both goats stepped onto the bridge at the same time, and neither wanted to give way. "I came first, so I should go first." "Brown goat, I need to cross too. If I step back, I'll lose time." The two goats stared at each other, unwilling to back down. They started pushing against each other with their heads, trying to force their way forward. "White goat, I can't step back. I must go first." "No, I won't give in either." Suddenly, a strong wind blew, making the bridge shake. Both goats hesitated. If they kept fighting, they could both fall into the river. "White goat, we can't just stand here forever. If we work together, we can both cross safely." "You're right. I'll kneel down so you can step over me. Then I'll continue crossing." The brown goat knelt down, allowing the white goat to carefully step over its back. Once the white goat crossed, the brown goat stood up and continued walking. Both were happy that they had found a way to cross safely together. Once they both reached the other side safely, they looked back at the bridge and smiled. If they had kept fighting, they might have both fallen into the river. But by working together, they both achieved their goal. The story of the two goats teaches us that in life, there are times when we must cooperate instead of competing. By working together, we can achieve more than if we only think of ourselves. Story: The Spider and the Web. In a dense green forest, there lived a small spider named Tula. It had a dark brown body with shimmering golden streaks, eight agile legs, and round, sparkling eyes. Tula loved weaving webs, but it had never succeeded. Every time it started, the wind would tear its delicate threads apart. Tula tried many times. It spun delicate silk threads, but the strong wind tore them apart. Morning dew weighed down the web, causing it to break. Tula was disappointed, but it refused to give up. "Tula, why do I keep failing?" One day, as Tula sat thinking, a beetle flew by. It had a shiny emerald green shell and wise, understanding eyes. "Tula, I see you are trying to weave a web. Don't lose hope. Every artist needs time to perfect their masterpiece." Listening to the beetle's words, Tula began observing more carefully. It realized that the wind wasn't its enemy. It could be part of the web's strength. If it adjusted its threads properly, the wind could actually make the web sturdier. "Tula, I can use the wind to create a stronger web." Finally, after days of effort, Tula created a perfect web. It glistened in the morning sun, with dewdrops sparkling like tiny gems. The wind blew, but the web held firm. Beetle, congratulations, Tula. You have turned failure into art. From that day on, Tula no longer feared failure. It understood that art and success don't happen instantly. They require patience and creativity. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn. Tula's story teaches us that every failure is a step toward success. With perseverance and creativity, we can turn challenges into masterpieces. Story: The Grasshopper and the Mouse. In a vast meadow, filled with colorful wildflowers and lush green grass, lived a little grasshopper named Tico. Tico had shimmering golden wings, a slender body, and strong hind legs that allowed him to jump high. He loved hopping around, singing, and enjoying the warm summer days. One day, while Tico was singing on a low tree branch, he noticed a little mouse named Remy. Remy had soft gray fur, bright black eyes, and tiny hands that were constantly busy gathering nuts and storing them in a small burrow beneath the tree. "Remy, why are you always working? The weather is so nice. Why don't you come and play?" "Tico, summer won't last forever. I'm preparing food for the winter." Tico laughed at Remy's words. He believed life was meant to be enjoyed, not spent worrying. While Remy worked hard, Tico roamed the meadow, enjoying the beautiful sunny days. Worrying about the future only takes away today's joy. Summer is wonderful. I'll sing and have fun. Summer passed quickly, and soon winter arrived. Snow began to fall, covering the meadow in white. Tico had no food and no shelter. He shivered, his delicate wings no longer strong enough to jump around as he once did. "Tico, I never thought winter would be this harsh. What should I do now?" With nowhere else to go, Tico remembered Remy and made his way to the little mouse's burrow. When Remy opened the door, Tico, weak and shivering, pleaded for help. "Remy, I'm so cold and hungry. Can you help me?" "Tico, luckily I have enough food to share, but you must promise that next summer you'll prepare better." Thanks to Remy's kindness, Tico survived the winter, and from then on, he never took things for granted again. When summer returned, he still sang, but he also started collecting food, preparing for the future. Tico, excitedly determined, "This time, I'll enjoy summer, but also prepare for the future." The story of the grasshopper and the mouse teaches us that while having fun is important, we must also prepare for the future. A little effort today can save us from hardship later. Story: The Elephant and the Wind. In a lush green jungle, there was a little elephant named Moko. Moko had big ears, gentle eyes, and smooth gray skin. Despite being larger than many other animals, Moko always doubted his own strength. Whenever strong winds blew through the jungle, he would shrink in fear. One day, while Moko was playing by the river, a powerful gust of wind rushed in, swirling golden leaves into the air. The wind laughed and said, "Little elephant, you may be big, but you are weak. With just a strong gust, I can make you fall." "Moko, could it be true? Am I really that weak?" The wind's words haunted Moko. He started to doubt himself. Moko avoided strong winds, afraid to step into open spaces, fearing he might be knocked down. Moko, sighing, lowering his head. "Maybe I'm not as strong as I thought." Seeing Moko's sadness, an old elephant with bright, wise eyes approached. The old elephant smiled and asked, "Why do you look so down, Moko?" "I'm afraid of the wind. It says I am weak." Old elephant. "Moko, have you ever tried standing firm against the wind? Don't let words make you forget your true strength." Taking the old elephant's advice, Moko decided to challenge himself. When the wind blew again, this time Moko didn't run. He stood firm, feeling the wind brush against his skin. "I am not afraid anymore. The wind may be strong, but I am stronger." The wind was surprised to see Moko standing tall. It said, "So, you have found your strength." Moko smiled, proud of himself. "Moko, I am not weak. I am much stronger than I thought." Moko's story teaches us that true strength comes from within. Don't let fear or words from others make you doubt yourself. Believe in yourself because you are stronger than you think. That's a wrap on today's stories at Pets Joy Moments. We hope you enjoyed these 10 magical animal fairy tales filled with friendship, wisdom, and kindness. Each story reminds us that even the smallest creatures can teach the biggest lessons. Which tale touched your heart the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you loved these stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more enchanting fables every week. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an adventure. See you in the next episode of Pets Joy Moments.